July 1999. It was summer, and I hadn't watched Channel 21 for a while, until one day when I slept over at my friend's house, I decided to check it out again. My friend had gotten a TV in his room for his 6th birthday, so we stayed up very late. For us, 9:30 was very late, and watched TV. That's when I remembered Channel 21, and brought it up to my friend. We decided to see if it was on, and to our surprise, it was. They must have changed the broadcasting time. Mr. Bear's Cellar, Episode 23. The episode was entertaining for my friend and I, mainly because it had swearing. However, now when I think about the episode, I realize something was definitely wrong when it was filmed. The episode started with the camera on its side, while it was facing Mr. Bear. There was also another kid talking to him, but the kid looked about 11 or 12. He was talking to Mr. Bear for a while, and I couldn't hear well, again, with that crappy camcorder, until the kid started raising his voice. The kid was saying how it was late and his sister had to go home. He could also hear more voices in the background. I remember Mr. Bear clearly saying, "Get the fuck out, you're not invited," with a deep voice muffled by the bear mask. I remember my friend and I looking at each other and laughing at the mention of the forbidden F word. But the episode got weirder. The kid began climbing the stairs before turning around and saying how he was going to call the police. Mr. Bear began breaking into a run towards the kids, who started screaming and running as well. The camera then cut out. And that was the end of the episode. The channel then turned to static shortly after. Booby, Episode 42. Playing with Scissors. One rainy afternoon I was bored, so I decided to watch Channel 21. When I started watching, some show about a guy just sitting in an armchair was just finishing. I forget what it was about though. When I first saw this episode, I thought that it was for teenagers because it had blood in it, and it was very gross. When the police told me everything, I now know who the blood belonged to. The episode showed Booby in another hand with a ribbon around the pinky finger, Booby's girlfriend. Booby was holding scissors and hopping around back and forth while his girlfriend slowly swung around aimlessly. Another hand shot into the scene. This hand was smaller though, and was jerking violently as if someone under the table was forcing the hand, and I later found out that this was the case. "Scissors are very dangerous, kids, so hold them safely," Booby said to the camera. I noticed I could hear muffled screams, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from because of the bad sound quality. Booby's girlfriend grabbed the small hand, which was thrashing about, and Booby went at it with the scissors. He started with the thumb. He opened the scissors wide and clasped them onto the thumb. Blood began oozing out, and muffled screams were now very loud. My 5-year-old self was very grossed out, and that's when I decided that maybe Booby was a show meant for teenagers or grown-ups. Then the scissors got to the bone. A horrible crunching noise was heard, and that's when I turned the TV off. I never discussed it with my dad because I feared that he'd limit my TV time. August 1999. I didn't want to watch Channel 21 after that Booby episode. In August, I grew more curious to see Mr. Bear's Cellar for some reason, though. The last episode I saw of Mr. Bear's was weird and had swearing, which also made me think the show was meant for teenagers. Nonetheless, I flipped onto Channel 21 when my dad was busy. Mr. Bear's Cellar, Episode 28. Apparently, this episode had been playing the entire month of August. It was studied a lot by the police. The entire episode was just Mr. Bear sitting in a chair, talking to the audience. "Hello, kids. Do you want to visit my cellar? If you do, please write me a letter at this address." The screen then switched to a white screen, with multicolored letters reading the address. And that was what remained for the rest of the episode. And guess what I actually did? I sent Mr. Bear, or that sick bastard who betrayed him, a letter. I did it out of curiosity mostly. My dad was okay with it because he thought that it was a legit kid's show. But then again, he never saw any of what was on Channel 21, so I wrote a letter using my best handwriting possible. I think I just said how I wanted to meet Mr. Bear, and if Booby also lived in the cellar. So my dad sent the letter to the address Mr. Bear said on the show. It stayed on all day anyway, for some reason. It took about a week to get a response, which I was surprised I did. I still have the letter I received August 15th, 1999. The letter read, "Dear Elliot, thank you ever so much for your letter. I would love to have you in my cellar. We play games, watch movies, and go fire camping in the middle of the woods." And yes, Booby does live in my cellar. He is a good friend of mine. Come to my house at Celadon, Ontario, Canada. I look very forward to having fun with you. Love, Mr. Bear. I cannot believe my dad never found this sketchy because he actually took me to the house. And then that's when the police became involved. Those endless questions, those pictures of terrified kids, the woods. That brings me to why I'm writing this blog. That Psycho and his friends did some fucked up shit back then, and now it seems he's trying to get into contact with me again. The entire police thing is coming back. That has brought 1999 back to me. Over a decade later, it's happening again.